Hello, everyone. Good day. Welcome to another test drill series on the subject animal science. So let's answer 5 questions, and there's a lot to unpack today. So get ready to learn. I want you to focus and start off with question number 1. Which is the longest pig because of its extra ribs? So we're looking at the breed of a pig that is the longest dahil siya ay may extra rib. Okay, so the answer there is large white. Now let's dive deep into all of the pig breeds within these choices and see kung ano yung mga unique features nila and why is large white here the correct answer. So let's start off with large white. So what is large white? Large white is a pig of breed originally in the US. No? It is also called your Yorkshire. Ang pinaka-physical characteristic ng large white is that it is long. Okay? It is a breed of pig with long body because it has an extra rib. Typically, ang large white natin may 16 ribs. 16 ribs as compared to other pig breeds which has 13 to 15 pairs. So yung other breeds natin, 13 to 15 pairs of ribs lang sila. However, yung ating large white, mayroon niyang 16 pairs of ribs that makes its body longer as compared to other breeds. Large whites are typically white, okay, as you can see in the photo. They have erect ears, so nakatayo yung tenga, it's not droopy, which is nakababa. And it is one of the traits ng large white is that it has a very rapid growth rate and excellent feed efficiency. So maganda siya really for meat production and at the same time very good reproductive performance. Why is that so? Dahil mahaba siya, ibig lang sabihin yan, marami siyang makikater na suckling kapag siya ay nanganganak. Isa pa, large whites are known as efficient breeders and good mothers. Yung mga babaeng large whites, yung ating mga sow, they are considered as good mothers. Ibig sabihin, they have good mothering ability, always taking good care of their young when they are born. How about Poland, China? So Poland, China still originated in the United States, specifically in Ohio. Now, this breed was developed by crossing several types of pigs, including Berkshire and Hampshire with local pigs. So they have crossed Berkshire and Hampshire with local pigs there. They have now developed this Poland China. So ano yung specific na physical characteristic ng Poland China? Well, unang-una sa lahat, they are large size. Okay? Poland China, they are large size. Mabigat talaga sila and they are well muscled. We can also see that they have droopy ears, right? And they do have a black coat, black ang kulay nila. However, there are patches of white on their face. So we can see on their face, although hindi ganun ka-obvious dito sa photo na to, and on their legs as well. Hindi siya ganun kahaba as large white, although large size ang Poland China, and it is also valued for rapid growth and weight gain. Maganda rin ang quality ng karne ng Poland China. And temperamentally speaking, ang mga Poland China, they are docile, which makes them easier to manage. So, mababait sila. Hindi sila ganun ka-hyper. They are docile, they are gentle, they are easily, you can easily take good care and manage them. So that's Poland China. How about Duroc? Now, Duroc is a breed who has its roots still in the United States. This was primarily in New York and New Jersey through the crossing of their old Duroc, so which is a native pig there, and red Jersey pigs. Physical characteristic wise, Ang kulay ng durok is reddish brown in colors. We can see in the photos. There was also shades can also vary from having the durok at a light golden to a deep mahogany red. So, yung iba, lighter yung color. Yung iba, mas matingkad yung pagka-reddish niya. Now, durok, they are medium to large size. So, hindi siya kasing laki ng large white and Poland China natin. It can be medium size pig. And they do have a standard rib count as well, 13 to 15 pairs, which means hindi elongated yung kanilang katawan. They are valued for their fast growth rate, pero isa sa mga pinakamahalagang characteristic talaga ng durok is having this excellent meat quality. They are famous. This pig breed is famous for its very good marbling ability. Ano ba yung marbling? Okay? Marbling refers to the thin streaks of vein of fats in your meat. Yan. Okay? Now, this kind of marbling actually determines kung gaano ka-tender, gaano kalasa yung karne mo. So, a lot of restaurant buyers who's looking for pork would actually look for this marbling ability of their pork whenever they buy it in the market. Kaya napakaganda ng lasa ng durok pork because of this excellent marbling ability of their meat. They are also known for being hardy. Kasi nga, we can remember they are bred with the native pigs there. So they are hardy, they are robust, they are active, and hindi sila basta-basta nagkakasakit. How about the Berkshire? Now, Berkshire is also a medium-sized pig. They originated in England over 300 years ago, okay, specifically sa Berkshire County sa England. Physical characteristic-wise, they are medium-sized pigs with black coat and distinctive white markings sa paa, parang yung ating Poland China. However, this time, Berkshire has a upright ear. If you can remember, yung ating Poland China, droopy ang kanilang ears. Now, in terms of meat, superior din ang meat quality ng Berkshire pigs. It is known for its tenderness, juiciness, and flavor. They are also referred as the Kobe beef of pork. So it's one of the best pork ang Berkshire. In terms of growth and efficiency, they grow slower. Yun nga lang yung downside nila compared to some other pigs. However, kinompensate nung slower growth rate na yon yung kanyang magandang meat quality. Temperamentally speaking, your Berkshires are docile as well. They are easy to manage, they are calm, making them favorite among small-scale farmers na gustong i-priority ang quality of meat rather than quantity of meat. So those are the 4 breeds in the choices for question number 1. So let's move on to question number 2. Which device with controlled temperature do you need for the rearing of hatch chicks? So we're looking at a device na kailangan daw natin para alagaan ang isang chick, okay? Or ang isang batang manok. Remember, this is already hatch. So wala na siya sa kanyang itlog. Now, if we're going to look at the choices, we can assume that crate is already wrong, okay? And perch is already wrong. Why? Because crate is something like this, okay? Wala namang controlled temperature sa isang crate. Madalas ginagamit yan, paglagyan ng hayop kapag itatransport natin. And a perch is a horizontal bar na pinapatungan ng mga ibon natin. Not just chickens, but if you do have a bird pet, kung saan siya pumapatong, ang tawag doon, perch. So crate and perch is already the wrong answer. We are now left with brooder or incubator. So we need to understand and differentiate these 2 devices. Let's start off with incubation or the incubator. Now, the incubator is a device used to keep your eggs at the right temperature. So ang incubator, ginagamit yan, itlog pa lang yung ating manok. Okay? Now, why? We use incubator because sometimes hindi kaya nung ating chicken na tawag na ito, i-brood lahat ng mga itlog na kanyang pinoproduce. So in order for us to be, no, not i-brood, na upuan or i-incubate yung lahat ng mga itlog na pinoproduce niya. So we created a device where we can put the eggs there at a mass volume. So ibig sabihin, maramihan, ilalagay natin yung itlog sa incubator and then sabay-sabay silang mag-hatch without the need for the chicken. Kasi medyo limited kapag hahayaan lang natin yung chicken na upuan yung mga itlog nito and i-incubate nila yung sarili nilang eggs. Now, the good thing, the crucial thing about creating an incubator or buying one, say, is that it should have a consistent heat, particularly at around 37.2 degrees Celsius to 37.8 degrees Celsius. In terms of relative humidity, or yung tubig sa kanyang atmosphere, one way to think about it, on the first 18 days, dapat around 60% yung relative humidity, yung moisture na nandun sa kanyang environment. And for the last 3 days, it should be at around 65 to 70%. Why is that so? Bakit natin pinapataas yung humidity at the last 3 days? Well, this is because so that yung ating eggshell, medyo lumambot siya. Kasi kapag mas basa yung environment, yung ating eggshell, it can easily break. Kasi hindi iyan na yung time na malapit nang mag-hatch yung ating mga manok. And at the same time, it is also important then when incubating chickens to consistently turn the eggs. Kasi minimimik natin yung natural process na ginagawa ng isang hen when they are incubating their own eggs, which is pinapaikot-ikot nila yan para balanse, kumbaga, na nakaka-receive ng heat yung iba't ibang parts ng itlog. Kasi kapag hindi rin natin iniikot yan, maaaring magkaroon ng abnormality yung paglaki ng chick sa loob. So these are three things, these are three crucial things that we need to, this is crucial to understand and remember when incubating your chicken eggs. Now, in comparison to brooding, ano naman ang brooding? Now, kapag nag-hatch na yung ating itlog, comes now the chicks, and the chicks, hindi pa niya kayang i-maintain yung sarili niyang temperature, kaya ilalagay natin siya sa isang brooder. So, yung brooder is similar to incubation in terms of its principle, but this time around, the brooder is to provide heat to your young chicken, to your chick. Okay? It is to keep your chicks warm and safe until they are old enough to regulate their own body temperature. In terms of temperature, the brooder should maintain a temperature of around 35 degrees Celsius during the first week, and then gradually ibinababa yan ng around 2.8 degrees Celsius up until its 6th week. So ganito yung itsura niya. So from 0 to 1 week ng ating chicks, temperature-wise, that should be 33.9 to 35 degrees Celsius. At 1 to 2 weeks, 31.1 to 32.2 degrees Celsius. And then pababa siya ng pababa up until matapos ang 6 weeks. So typically, a chick will be removed from the brooder after 4 to 6 weeks. So typically 6 weeks, pero ngayon, at 4 weeks pa lang, may iba tinatanggal na. So the idea here is magsisimula siya at 33 to 39 degrees Celsius and then bumababa siya ng 2.8 degrees Celsius after every week until matapos yung 6 weeks. So the question is asking us for a device that controls the temperature when we are taking good care of hatch chicks. So that is not an incubator. Kasi an incubator is providing heat to your egg, not hatch chicks. So the answer here would be brooder. Okay? Brooder is that device kung saan may temperature control for rearing hatch chicks. Next question. What is the average proportion of albumin in chicken eggs? So we have an egg. Ilang percent doon ang albumin? Ilang percent kaya? So of course, we need to understand what albumin is, but later on we'll tackle that. But the correct answer here is 59%. Okay? Now what is an albumin? If you break your egg and there's that egg white, that is your albumin. Okay? And the albumin of an egg contains the majority of your egg. It contains 59% if we're going to compare it with the yolk and the shell. Now, the albumin is 90% water, although 10% of which is protein, particularly, anong tawag sa protein na yan? It is called your ovalbumin. Okay? So, particularly 10% protein called your ovalbumin. Now, how about your yolk? Your yolk, on average, consists at around 31% of your egg. Your yolk consists of fats, proteins, vitamins, and minerals, while your shell consists 10% of your eggs. Now, your shell is mostly made of calcium carbonates. So, yan yung different proportion ng ating albumin or egg white, yolk, and shell. 59% albumin, 31% yolk, and 10% shell. Let's move on to the next question. Vitamin A helps maintain normal vision in dim light. Okay? Extreme vitamin A deficiency, so kakulangan sa vitamin A, may lead to night blindness, and this condition is called, what do we call that condition? Do we call it as xerophthalmia? Do we call it as osteomalacia? Do we call it as encephalomatia? Or do we call it as agalactia? Now, if you are familiar with eyeglasses, masasagot nyo na itong tanong na to. Kapag ikaw ay nag-eyeglass, pupunta ka saan? Sa ophthalmologist. So therefore, since this sickness is referring to disease related to blindness, so sa mata, then it is just logical that the correct answer here is xerophthalmia. And indeed, xerophthalmia is the correct answer here. Now, in your animals, also in human beings though, xerophthalmia is a vitamin A deficiency. So yun yung pinaka-cause niyan. And it can lead to dryness of the eyes and other visual impairments such as night blindness. Isa pa, dahil kulang sa vitamin A, yung ating hayop, nagkakakulang din sa production ng tinatawag nating rhodopsin. Okay? So dahil kulang sa vitamin A yung hayop, kulang din yung production ng pigment na rhodopsin, which is a pigment in your retina, which is a part of your eye, that is actually, I think it's actually your eyeball. For example, it's your eyeball. And itong rhodopsin na to should help your animal to adapt in dim light conditions. Now, the problem is, dahil kulang nga sa vitamin A, kulang din ang rhodopsin, nagkakaroon ng night blindness. Hindi siya nakakapag-adapt kapag dim yung condition. Another symptom nito is kapag progressive na, nagkakaroon ng severe dryness doon sa part ng cornea ng ating hayop and sa part ng conjunctiva, and nagkakaroon ng dahil dry, nagkakaroon ngayon ng parang ulcer or scarring dahil dry yung kanyang mata. So yan, makapansin natin here it's starting to get red. So yan ay isang indication that the conjunctiva of your animal is getting redder, is getting drier. Another sickness would be your osteomalacia. And an osteomalacia is a bone disease of your animals. Ang pinaka-cause ng osteomalacia is deficiency in vitamin D. Okay? And actually, in Greek words, ang ibig sabihin ng osteomalacia is soft bones. Soft bones. Kaya kapag nakita nyo yan, malambot na buto, agad-agad, papasok sa isip nyo, aha, this is a bone disease of an animal. So, ang osteomalacia is caused by vitamin D deficiency. At the same time, it is caused by the deficiency of other nutrients such as your calcium and phosphate. Now, what are the symptoms of osteomalacia? Kakaroon, dahil mahina yung buto, weak din yung muscle. Kasi saan ba nakabalot yung muscle natin kundi sa buto? And the strength of our buto is also determined by the interaction of your muscle and bone. So dahil mahina yung buto at this time, mahina rin yung, makapapansin din natin yung weakness sa paglalakad doon sa hayop. There's also deformities such as what we can see here. Okay, medyo deformed yung paglalakad ng ating hayop. And more than likely, yung hayop natin ay in pain. So it might create a sound that it is in pain kasi nga the bone has this issue of being tender, being soft instead of being strong to support the weight of your animal. Another disease that was discussed there in the choices is encephalomatia. Now, encephalomatia is cerebral softening. Osteomalacia is the softening of your bones. Encephalomatia is the softening of your brain. Okay? So this is a pathological condition kung saan yung ating brain tissues ng ating hayop becomes softened, usually due to necrosis or degeneration. Now, the main cause of encephalomatia, especially in animals, is extreme vitamin E deficiency. And because of that, nagkakaroon tayo ng several symptoms like ataxia, which is the lack of coordination and balance dun sa hayop natin. Nagkakaroon ng seizures yung ating hayop, and the animal has difficulty walking or standing. You can also observe a change in the behavior of your animal. So siguro yung dating masiglang hayop mo, maaaring hindi na siya ganun kasigla or maaaring irritable na siya. So there's a change in behavior. Now, vitamin E deficiency leading to encephalomatia, you need to understand na ito ay nagkukos ng neurological damage. So dahil sa brain ang naaapektuhan, it would likely kill your animal because of extreme vitamin E deficiency. Although encephalomatia can also be caused by, let's say, injury, okay? And sometimes it is also caused by infection from pathogens. Oh, how about this? Agalaxia. So agalaxia is the absence or severe reduction of milk production in your animals, such as your cows, goats, sheep, and your pigs. Now, in terms of its cause, ang pinaka-cause niyan is the lack of nutrients such as calcium, phosphorus, vitamin A, and D. It might also be caused by hormonal imbalance because milk production is regulated by hormones such as prolactin and oxytocin. So prolactin and oxytocin, yan yung ating milk hormones, one way to think about it. And kapag mababa yan, mababa rin yung production ng gatas sa ating hayop. It can also be caused though by some infections like mastitis, saan nagkaroon ng infection sa kanyang suso, okay? Or just systematic diseases that can affect your mammary gland's ability to produce milk. So obviously, ano ang symptom ng agalaxia? Lack of milk. Now, may importante ba yan? Lalo na sa baboy, di naman natin iniinom yung gatas ng baboy. Well, yes, importante yan. Kasi kung ang nanay nila ay may agalaxia, yung iyong mga piglets ay hindi maaalagaan ng tama. Sila ay magugutom, mangangayayat, at hindi sila lalaki ng maayos. Not unless meron kang foster sow na pwede mo temporarily ibigay muna doon yung mga biik habang yung nanay ay nagre-recover from this disease. Next question. A system of raising pigs where all classes of pigs are housed in one building. So the question is asking for a system of raising pigs. So it is not asking for a type of structure or a type of housing pen. Therefore, we can remove itong monitor type. Kasi what is monitor basically when it comes to pig housing? Monitor looks like this. So in architecture, especially sa paggawa ng housing ng baboy, ito yung itsura ng isang monitor type housing pig pen. So we can remove that kasi we're not looking at the structure, we're looking at a system of raising pigs. Let's assume also na may tamang sagot. So let's remove letter D muna. So we're left with life cycle system and conventional housing system. Let's discuss and differentiate these two. Unahin natin yung conventional housing system. So sa isang conventional housing system, yung mga baboy mo of all ages, they are housed in one single building or facility or one single location. So paano sila naghihiwa-hiwalay? Gagawa ka ng division doon sa facility na yon para paghiwa-hiwalayin mo yung mga boars, yung mga sows, yung mga piglets, yung mga growers. Yun yung key feature ng isang conventional housing system. Anong advantage nito? Napapasimple niya yung pagmamanage ng ating babuyan and feeding as well. And it's easier to control and monitor kasi iisang facility lang yung ating binabantayan. However, this kind of system is disadvantageous lalo na kapag may pagkalat ng sakit. Kasi kapag nagkaroon ng sakit yung isang baboy mo dyan, maaari niyang hawaan lahat kasi nga nasa iisang bahay or iisang facility lamang sila. Potentially as well, mas mataas rin yung stress ng mga hayop. Bakit? Kasi nandyan halos sila lahat. Kumbaga, ang daming hayop and hindi sila magkaka-stage. So there's some differences in their behaviors. Isipin mo na lang ikaw, kapag kasama mo yung mga matatanda, medyo hindi ka makasabay sa kanila. So ganun din dito. So yun yung conventional housing system. The other one in the option is the life cycle system. So in the life cycle system, multiple facilities siya. So hindi lang siya isang building. So it's multiple facilities. And each facility is specific for a particular stage nung hayop. So for example, may isang facility ka lang na nakafocus lang sa mga breeders mo, kung saan nandun yung boars and sows. May isang facility ka lang naman na nandun lang yung mga at farrowing stage. Okay? Yung mga sows that are giving birth to piglets. Okay? May isang station ka naman na kung saan puro mga sows lang na nagno-nurse ng kanilang piglets or nursery stage. And may mga facilities ka na for growing facilities, na for growing or finishing stage lamang. So when you have this kind of system wherein each facility has different pigs in relation to their stage of development, then you have a life cycle system. And since the question is asking for a system of raising pigs, kung saan all classes of pigs are housed in one building, anong tamang sagot? Life cycle or conventional housing system? All of your pigs is housed in one building? The correct answer is? Oh, wrong to. The correct answer is conventional. Okay? Conventional yan. So here you go. I hope you have learned a lot from this topic. God bless sa inyong pagre-review.